Hey everybody on the live stream, what's going on? I am wearing a
Ew.
suit. I'm wearing a suit. Yes, I was dared to, and
Something wrong with him.
I look cool. I look professional. I have a roller coaster tie on, so I mean, I look pretty fly.
And I'm kind of like
Bob's just chilling
partially in
out.
pajamas.
Bob's just chilling out. Yeah. I know we started late, but guess what, guys? For once, we're actually fully prepared. We have the rundown completely done already. I mean, I'm proud of ourselves really for this one.
Yeah, and see what I fear is that this means something's going to go horribly, horribly wrong with the recording tonight.
Yeah, like all of our audio is gonna get deleted or something.
Oh no! Oh God!
It's a sacrifice to the computer gods. If one thing goes right, the other thing cannot. Oh boy.
It'll make me cry. I will cry.
At least we know
No, I
you're
won't.
passionate about the show. Oh, you're not. All
I'll
right.
rage quit.
You rage quit.
Can
Just,
you Can you rage quit a podcast recording?
just.
Well, wait. I guess we wouldn't be recording, so
Yeah, exactly. Well, we would, but it just wouldn't have recorded. Nothing records. Hey, and you see, someone that works at Cedar Fair said, "I work for." He said, "Nope, everything's gonna be on your phone." I don't know if that means.
is he a Dippin' Dots clerk?
No, he's not. This
How
guy,
do you know?
he kind of sends controversial information sometimes to me, though.
I mean, the reality of it is the majority of people that work at a park don't really know what's going on to those extents anyway.
I'm pretty sure he was in like a. I'm pretty sure he's a little bit higher up than like just regular like ride up or something like that. I think he like. I'm pretty sure he works for them like because he works at he goes to Kings Island. He also goes to Knott's Berry Farm quite a bit. I know he does something like somewhat more important than like Dippin' Dots or food or something. I'm pretty sure he does something a little higher up than that. There's I don't know. I don't really know how much I
I,
rely.
I think James lost a bet. Actually, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I did not lose a bet.
It's kind of like that.
You know what? We've been sitting in our houses for like 5 months, and I've been in my PJs. I've been shirtless. I've been I've been doing like the homeless look, and I'm like, why don't for once I do like something nice and look like professional? I even got khakis on. Like I didn't like do the fake bottom like where I'm wearing shorts or something. You guys can tell I'm wearing khaki. I'm in it to win it, guys. I am in it to win it. This is no joke.
I got my
Yeah,
Super Mario pajama pants going
yeah,
on here.
exactly. So
You want me to put a tie on? I could put a tie on around my t-shirt.
sure.
Would that make you feel better?
Yeah. I don't know. It might make me feel worse, actually.
Hold on.
Let me find. What are we doing? Quickly pull. We're gonna start the show here very soon, guys. We have a packed show. I know, a lot of you guys probably realize that a lot's been going on, but I mean, man, the first like even like this. You know how we usually do a break midway through the show. Half after that, even we have some news to talk about. Even after that, so it's kind of crazy.
Never mind. My tie's not up here.
Super Mario is more current than Peanuts. Yay! Someone put that in the comments. I love how split the audience. We split the audience so well for this. We'll get like so many replies like Peanuts is current or relevant, and then some people going. I love how
Wait,
well we split.
current definitely isn't the right word. Actually, I wonder what.
Current relevant.
No,
I would use those interchangeably.
but I mean, Mario's from it was like late 70s, early 80s.
Wait until Volcanoes area becomes a Planet Snoopy expansion.
I'm telling you, it's gonna become Camp Snoopy.
It's Camp Snoopy.
It really wouldn't surprise. really wouldn't surprise me
Yeah,
if
we're
it
gonna get
comes
announcements and be
camp.
like, in 2021, the adventure you like. Remember how they said like that adventure's coming, or like that wait for the
Oh,
adventure or whatever. It's gonna be like,
Mario, I definitely Mario is definitely more popular than Peanuts. I'll give you that. I mean, and I'm shocked by that one. I'm absolutely shocked by that one. I went to a pinball competition in Pittsburgh. Um, it's called Pinburg, and it's at like a whole gaming convention thing. And my whole family lives in Pittsburgh, so I got something for my niece and nephew, and I was like, I'll buy them little plush toys from Super Mario, and like I'll tell them about who Super Mario is and stuff. Like that's Princess Peach, and that's the Invincible Star. I'm like, how do you wait? What? How? I was just like blown away. I was not expecting
were there
them
any
to
other parks
know.
that opened this year, this week? Or is it just Hershey Park that announced? I know like Idlewild did, but that's not really that important. But is there any other
They
ones
didn't
that?
open yet.
Well, they announced. I'm talking about announced because normally we start
They,
off the show talking about who announced. I feel like Hershey's the only one that announced.
I don't know if Mario is more recognizable than Mickey Mouse. That might be pushing it. Maybe. I don't know.
Snoopy Volcano, the Junior Blast Coaster.
As long as it's made by SNS,
Yeah, Holiday World
it's like
opened
Merlin's Mayhem.
yesterday. Bob's gonna be going to Holiday World next week, actually, and
Yep.
I'll be at Dollywood. Hooray for Dollywood! Hooray for Dollywood!
You have far better chance of catching coronavirus from Dollywood.
I am willing to accept that risk, 100%. It's me and Timmy, so we're brave in the wilderness. We're gonna be naked and afraid. Ugh.
I don't know. I'm so torn. I mean, I'm excited for my trip, but
I'll
at
be
the
at
same
Dollywood next
time,
weekend
like,
as well. I'll be there with Timmy, who's a friend of the show. So, and then
oh, Adventure Park.
be driving
I
around in a
I'll
scooter.
tell you, man. Um,
Adventure Park USA.
I ain't putting work tickets in. I don't want
I
to
like how we
think
always
about
start off the
work.
show like having a conversation with the audience, and then we start like 20 minutes later. We'll finally start the show.
Yeah, yeah. So,
You were at a bar. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't even know any bars that are open in this area. That must be. I know. I ate at a restaurant today. Ate inside a restaurant. And I felt like I was like. I felt like it was like weird. It was really out
yeah, I
of
haven't
place.
done that yet. I think
That's
some places are open up
that's
here.
how we're actually gonna start off the show talking about that. So
What was I saying before I got that ticket?
I don't know.
I forget.
All right, you wanna?
Uh,
Maybe we should talk about how I'm wearing a suit too. I feel like we should probably bring that up, and then we can plug the live
why?
look in. Maybe you can say something about
I
that.
mean, they can't.
I know they can't see
Well,
me, but like they'll be like, and for people that are listening, like you're dressed up in a full suit. I
oh
mean,
yes, that's what I was talking about. I'm kind of torn about it. Like I kind of feel like we're kind of getting back into this point where I don't know if it's responsible of me to go on a trip. Um, but I mean, I'm kind of stuck because my mom's work forced her to use half her vacation before the end of June. Um, so we're just kind of in that position. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I mean, I'm excited, and I think it's like if I was going to Florida, a Florida park, like I'd be canceling that crap right now because Florida's scary right now. But Indiana, I'm not so concerned about,
I'll be doing
and I'll
Florida.
be wearing my mask and stuff. Yeah, California's not. Yeah,
I
not
said
not
I
crazy.
might be doing Florida soon. Like not soon, but like
Oh, I thought you said California.
now. I would be kind of cool though. I'd be going to nothing because literally nothing's open yet there. So I'm gonna go look at the parks. Let me get some replies for the
Disneyland's
what?
Disneyland's open
No, they don't open until
or
July.
opening. Yeah.
Yeah, July. That's like a month away almost.
Oh, it's like less than 2 weeks away.
I think it's like
I
the
mean,
12th or something. All right.
well, okay, yeah. You said July is like a month away. It's like less than 2 weeks away. But yeah, I don't know which date, what the specific date is. Hold on. I will be right back in a second.
All right. Let's see if that response is here.
I have returned. All right, I gotta test my audio. Testing audio, testing. Testing. Testing my audio. What? Now it's really low. I don't understand this. Oh, wait. No. Wait. Oh, crap. What'd I do?
The blooper reel. All right, we're getting ready for the show. We're going to switch over to the main ticker then. Here we go.
I broke a Daisy.
All right, let's get ready for the show.
I'm trying.
You're not trying hard enough.
Maybe not.
You gotta yell at your computer. You gotta get like mad. Why aren't you working?
And now my neighbor just starts revving his engine because he can.
Oh, we don't hear it, so.
That's good. Testing. This is my angry voice. Not really. This is my worked up voice. I'm angry at you, James. You won't like me when I'm angry. All right. I think, actually, I guess that worked. Why is it so, it's like really, I don't know, the range seems more drastic. It's not bad, but.
Let's see how mine's doing. I have to test my audio and make sure it sounds good as well. Mine looks pretty good.
Sounds like crap. You and your Yeti.
Let's see how my high quality professional podcasting microphone. That is the most highly recommended on the market for beginning podcasters. Just anyone out there that's wondering. Yeah, check out the live stream, Bob. Actually, that's the new thing. I like this a lot better.
Mine is beginner broadcast quality.
Did they write that themselves? Whoever sold it?
I don't know. No.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Test. This is me if I'm getting kind of far away.
La.
Tra-la-la.
What the? I didn't realize you see a lot more of my. I can see on the stream video of me, I see more of my background than I see on Discord. Which is very interesting.
I think the little box you have of yourself is just like it kind of rounds it off on the edges, and that's why like on yours I see like a full square.
Obviously.
Well, you can make yours full screen.
I never knew that.
All right, are you ready?
think so. How many times is it going to take us to do the intro?
Yeah, we gotta figure that out.
Why when you pause YouTube, does it still sit there and like try to render?
That's something you need to ask YouTube.
YouTube is so stupid.
You too. Didn't touch.
It was such a great platform until Google got their greedy paws on it.
Anyone have any discussion about that?
Google, seriously, Google's like the inverse Midas touch.
The Midas touch. That's a
They
great
ruined
song.
so many things, like Waze. They absolutely ruined Waze. It was such a great application. And Google bought it, and it all went to hell.
All right. Are you ready? I think you should bring up the suit. I would highly recommend that. I think that would be a good way to start off. But are you ready?
Hold on, let me think about it. How am I gonna do that?
I'm gonna say like I had a normal day, and you'd be like, you don't look normal. You weren't. I don't know.
Okay.
That'd be kind of funny. That'd be kind of funny. I mean, I think you should go along
Alright.
with it first and kind of go along. But oh wow, yeah, you ate at a restaurant. That's kind of cool. And then be like, but you don't really look normal. Or so I don't know. It's your choice. It's your up there. But I think that'd be a good way to like kind of do like a little bit of a hook.
All right, we'll figure something out.
We always do. Let's see if I can.
All on the fly.
Let's see if I can at least.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Let's at least start.
Do it live.
Let's at least see if we can start off the show. See if I can get that together first. Actually, I'm not even gonna start off reading the date and all that. I'll say that later on.
Wow.
So.
You actually got the date in there.
I know. Are you proud of me? Are you proud?
I am.
All right, here we go.
3, 2.
Bob, I did something actually normal today. Did something normal, and I went to a restaurant and sat inside of the restaurant. I sat in a booth and got my food order. I mean, it was almost like it was a dream.
What was that like? You know, it's been so the off season of restaurants has off season of restaurant. Yes, the off season of restaurants has been so long.
All those years ago.
I'm so used to like going through the the Chick-fil-A right next to my house is amazing because they've converted the parking lot into a 3-lane drive-through.
Yep.
It is spectacular. It's just amazing. But that's you know.
That's what the one near me did as well. Yeah, and I mean, it was so weird it just felt too normal. It felt like too normal. It felt too familiar. Oh, it was just strange. And I mean, it was awesome.
I think the last few times I've been in a restaurant, like all the chairs are like pushed to the side, and it's like
there's
even
tape.
Just to see a restaurant that's fully set up is like that seems weird.
Yeah.
You know what else really looks weird? You're wearing a suit.
I am
for this podcast.
I'm wearing a suit, and
I need to know what's going on because I'm wearing pajamas and you're wearing a suit. So
we could not be wearing more contrasting outfits right now. We could not be. Well, I'll try to tell a short story so we can get into the actual podcast a little bit. But basically, what happened was we have a friend Timmy. He's been on the show before. We've had him on for game shows. We've had him on the YouTube channel for live streams, different parts, different things. You've seen him in vlogs at the parks and things like that. And we were talking, and he has a job, and he does delivery service. He delivers food, and he sent me a photo of himself all dressed up for the food. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you dressing up for the food service? I mean, like, you're just dropping food off of people's houses. I don't think they care that, like, what is that for? And he's like, really, it's because I'm sitting in my house all day. I'm, wearing pajamas, as Bob is. I'm not wearing a shirt, or I'm just lounging around in my clothes, my gym clothes, workout clothes, just gym t-shirt, gym shorts, And he's like, I really wanted to dress up, really. Like that's kind of what this came from. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'd do that for a podcast, kind of joking around, like, maybe I'll dress up for a podcast. You know, I've put on a nice shirt before. I've never really, I'm like fully immersed in this right now. Like I am like a sports broadcaster right now. I don't know. I mean, you guys should watch us live on Thursday nights at 9:00 if you want to see how crazy I look, or go back and watch it. It'll be on the YouTube channel as well. But I mean, I'm fully decked out, and yeah, it kind of feels nice. I feel very professional. I feel very ready to go.
The interesting thing is I feel ready to go too. And I don't have, I'm not being strangled by a tie. So,
well, it's a roller coaster tie, so it's in good spirits. I mean,
I'll give you a single bonus point for that.
Whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever floats your boat.
Geek, so we don't do this suit stuff. Like
Okay.
That's not like, I don't. In fact, I always tell people if I was actually interviewing somebody to hire to actually work with me, and I had two applicants sitting side by side that were exactly equal, and one had a suit on and the other was just wearing a t-shirt, I would absolutely hire the guy wearing a t-shirt. Absolutely.
Wow.
Because if you're wearing a suit, you're going to get your tie caught in a rack or something. Yeah.
Or maybe you're too. Maybe you're too obsessed with looks. That might be a better thing.
Yeah, there's that too. Like I don't really care.
Might be more than you're gonna get your ties stuck in a rack. All
I
right.
never thought people would see me on the internet till James said, "Hey, you want to join the podcast? Oh, by the way, let's do this live look thing." I'm like, oh, okay. People have to see me now.
And I mean, I definitely feel more professional. I feel more like I'm a news broadcaster here, so I kind of am enjoying that. But I do enjoy doing the podcast in my PJs too. So I've done both, and there's pros and cons to both. But let's get started. We've gone a bit off rant there, and it was a good way to start off the show. But this is Coaster Talk Podcast.
On the rails, so we couldn't go off.
Yeah, we weren't ever there to begin with. But this is Coaster Talk Podcast, your source for everything roller coasters. This is episode number 78. We're inching our way close to number 100. It's getting close. Every episode we get higher and higher, and it's like, oh, we're almost there. It's exciting stuff. We're gonna be releasing more details to come once we get closer to 100. That'll be a couple months away, but it is on our radar. Just FYI, we are planning somewhat for that. It's June 21st, 2020. I'm James Barber,
and I'm Bob Mertz.
And as you know, I'm wearing a suit, and I just messed it up. Haha, we already talked about that. And I'm just going to start it from right there. So just end it and then just stop it right there.
Yeah, I'm not deleting anything. You asked before. I think maybe you should record the Busch Gardens Tampa one.
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, we'll do that.
So are you going to stop it then there? Before that?
Well, I was thinking maybe the SeaWorld San Antonio too, because that was their leaked Power Splash and Swing Ride. Because that was pretty big news, and Busch Gardens, like you said, it's kind of a formality to do that in the first place. So that's not
So why aren't we talking about those together actually?
Because it's kind of separate. It's two different parks, two different things going on.
Yeah, but the whole reason why we found out about that stuff is because it was because they were basically the people that are planning it filed a suit against them, against SeaWorld. Yeah, that's fine.
It says the owner of pursuant to a written contract by and between Claymate and SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment and SeaWorld San Antonio, owner of the below described property, Claymate has furnished architectural and design services, including the development and plans of construction of a Mack Power Splash on the following real property.
Yeah, that's just the company was just that's the contract, but they took this from the hold on, let me find the other link for it, because this was actually from the rest of that document is actually a lawsuit. Yeah, this was according to a lien filed against SeaWorld. The park was considering the Mac power splash.
You send me the link.
Yeah, so well, here's there's another document I saw somewhere that this is a different document. It's not the one I was actually talking about. Now I don't know where I saw it.
Is this the lawsuit though? Or are you saying this isn't?
No, that's not. The first comment says about it, but behind the thrills security certificate has expired. Why? I don't. All of a sudden, everybody's security certificates are expiring. Yeah, PGAV Destinations, the design firm that plans many of the chain's new exhibits and attractions, has placed liens against SeaWorld for multiple projects, including future attractions. Yeah, here's.
Can you paste that link on the thing? On the like underneath.
Yeah.
Underneath the SeaWorld's here, and just delete that other link, since this link isn't even that.
You format that. I don't like that. I don't do formatting. They still don't like they don't show it. I don't understand why they. Yeah, but anyway, the whole reason why we found out all of this is actually because of liens being filed.
All right, I guess we can put that up later.
I mean, it's up to you. I kind of feel like.
Then I don't know where we're gonna. I guess should we just talk about that all as one thing? Like do that all as the one video talking about.
Yeah, because we can talk about the liens and stuff and say, oh, but the one interesting thing that we found out with the liens is
the swing ride and the Mac Power Splash. Yeah, all right. So we'll stop at the point where we start talking about that. So once we talk about the new coaster coming to Kentucky Kingdom, we'll stop. All right?
Yeah.
I'm James Barber.
Yep, right. That works for me.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Gotta get ready to start audio.
All right, you ready?
Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
3, 2.
In the past few weeks, Bob, we've had a lot of parks reopening, and we've been sharing them all on the podcast. At the very beginning of the show, that's where we kind of started talking about these parks reopening. I know we had huge lists, I think the past 2 or 3 shows now, This week, though, not many to discuss. Hershey Park is the only major one that we listed on the show notes today. Hershey Park opens July 1st to pass holders and July 3rd to the public. Candymonium will, in fact, open with the park as well. So, some good news for that.
It's interesting. Hershey Park's website says nothing about. There's been multiple news outlets that have reported July 1st and 2nd for pass holders, but Hershey Park's website has no mention of it whatsoever. And I actually got on Monday, I purchased a season pass to Hershey Park, and I tentatively made a reservation for July 3rd. I don't know. I don't know if it has to do if it's only certain pass holders or.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure what the scenario is there. I know on the 29th and I think the 30th, the king size pass holders get to go ride Candymonium.
They very well could be just not promoting the July 1st opening, and they might just be emailing it to like the certain pass holders that get that benefit. Because I mean, if they put that on their website, people might show up that aren't really supposed to be there. Maybe that's what they're trying to avoid, possibly.
Well, they can't show up without a reservation anyway, so.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe they don't want unnecessary traffic. Even like, I know if they could turn those people away, they might say, we just don't want those people showing up in the first place, kind of thing. So we're not even going to mention it. I don't know. It is strange because I mean, they said like all those news sources said this is a statement directly from Hershey Park, so it wasn't like this has been misconstrued or anything like that. This is actually directly from the park. So they're definitely planning on this. This isn't misinformation, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it is strange that they haven't said anything about it.
I'm not saying there's an indication of it. I just don't. I'm not fully understand of like what the details are. Like, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's only certain pass holders, like people that just have certain levels of passes or something. I'm not sure what those specifics are.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting indeed.
But I am excited to get up there. Like I said, I'm planning on July 3rd, but I don't know. I might end up changing that as we get closer.
I want to get up there too. I'm really looking forward to Candymonium. I kind of plan on maybe getting there sometime in July, but again, it's tentative, as is your plans.
Yeah. I wasn't even actually planning on getting a season pass, but I was going to get a Kennywood pass before they stopped. For some reason, Kennywood stopped selling passes that are good for 2021 now.
Yeah.
And I was going to grab a pass before that stopped. So I transferred money into my spending account, and it didn't get into my account until 4 hours after that sale ended. So I was like, well, I'm not buying a pass just for this year because I don't know what's going to, go on for this year. So I was like, I'll buy a Hershey Park pass, and I'm good with that. I like Hershey. Hershey's actually one of my favorite parks. So
yeah, I like Hershey a lot too. I liked it a lot too.
But yeah, there's another little tidbit for anybody in the Pittsburgh area that was thinking of buying a Kennywood pass or Idlewild or Sandcastle.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a pass now from this point on, they are not good in 2021.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of. I feel like that kind of ruins the incentive to buy one, really.
Yeah, I don't understand the motive. It doesn't make sense to me because now they guaranteed that I'm not getting a pass this year, and that likely means I may go once because I think my parents bought tickets like when they had a sale, so I might get a 1-day ticket, but that's probably going to be it because I can't justify the cost. I've got other places to go. It just doesn't make sense because I feel like that just guarantees that the majority of people won't buy season passes now because there's still a lot of uncertainty about this year, which we'll talk later on in the episode more about that. But, it just seems like I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. Another weird thing to do, but this would only come from Kentucky Kingdom, is to troll everyone on Twitter about a new roller coaster you're getting. Not only troll people about it, like make up some kind of fake thing, but actually leaked documents that were official and real got out, and Kentucky Kingdom took those documents, photoshopped them, and made a big joke of it all on their Twitter page, and
Yeah.
so much
So
so
in
much so.
2021, we will be riding T4.
So much so that the actual news reported on it. The local news
Yes. Oh
reported
my God,
on
yes.
T4 coming. The dueling SLC, or I think they were like the dueling suspended looping coasters coming to Kentucky Kingdom in 2021. Be ready, guys. I mean, it was so good to see. I mean, it felt like it was like satire almost, but I mean, it was for real. I don't remember the news channel exactly, but look it up. Look up, local Kentucky news, T4 reporting, because it was great. It was comedy gold. I was dying. It was great, and it was a fantastic. Kentucky Kingdom is by far the best social media page for a park out there. They have such a great Instagram page. They have a great Twitter page. I mean, there's so many jokes, so many awesome things that they do, and it's just. If there's ever any need to justify following a park on social media, I think Kentucky Kingdom makes the best argument. Because yes, you might get some updates with some parks, and you might get some cool, photo opportunities, some cool stuff like that here and there with other parks. But I mean, Kentucky Kingdom makes it worth your while to follow, man. It makes it so worth your while.
Yeah, they are absolutely their social media is absolutely great.
Fantastic.
I think between them and Sheets, those are like my favorite social media accounts on Twitter. They're just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they've done some pretty great things before. I think this might be the tip of the iceberg for them, though. That was amazing.
No, Onion still beats it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some argument. There's some room for debate there with Kentucky Kingdom and their social media page, which is great. I love it. Oh man, I love it. Yeah. And I see other parks trying to kind of copy them now. I see other parks trying to post like memes and stuff, and it's like, come on, guys, you're not Kentucky Kingdom.
Oh yeah. the SeaWorld parks that do it crack me up because they're so horrible.
And
if as good as Kentucky Kingdom is, I am honest to God, SeaWorld parks don't get social media at all. And Busch Gardens Williamsburg is the worst. I don't know that I've ever seen any company be so bad at social media. It's unreal.
Yeah, and I think King's Dominion did one where it was, I believe, like a photo of, I think it was like Snoopy, and it was like a coloring sheet kind of, and they said, no one, absolutely no one, and then it was like us giving you more coloring sheets, like as like they were trying to like make it like a joke, kind of like. Yeah.
Although I will tell you, the meme they posted about the opening, it was the Friends scene.
Yeah, that was
saying you're not opening. Oh my God, that was a good one. King's Dominion did a good job there.
Yeah, but again, that was used. That had been used previously, I believe, by other park social media. So it was kind of like, but it was funny, definitely.
Evan mentioned in the chat, Don Helbig is good for Kings Island, and he is actually good. He's not nearly as good as Kentucky Kingdom though.
Yeah.
But so here's the fun news about Kentucky Kingdom is, despite all of the trolling and the joking, there is actually a fouling for a ride, and it's for a structure to get FAA approval.
Yeah.
The name of the structure is Raptor.
Yeah.
So, that doesn't confirm anything really, except they're thinking about something. But it does give a pretty strong argument to Kentucky Kingdom looking at getting an RMC Raptor.
Yeah. Which is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that park is like, these people that say Cedar Point's out of space have not been to Kentucky Kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah. The only problem with this for me really is that they already have two rides, that Storm Chaser, which is an RMC, and then they have Lightning Run, which really acts as an RMC, and they're adding another RMC. I just feel like that's a little repetitive. I don't mind. I think Raptor needs to be in this area, and it's a good fit. It's supposed to be in small parks and things like that. But I just feel like it's almost a repeat of existing rides there because I've been on the Raptors and the Raptors really do act like the smaller RMCs, kind of like Storm Chaser, and then Lightning Run acts it on its own like a smaller RMC. In my opinion, it's very whippy, very airtime filled, things like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little repetitive. I don't mind again, but I just, in my personal opinion, that would not have been like my go-to for Kentucky Kingdom, which obviously not my park, not my decision to make, but I feel as though that they could have had a better choice in terms of attractions. But I'm still thrilled. I'm still really excited, and I'm sure it's gonna be a great attraction.
Yeah, I didn't really think of that. That is kind of, yeah, I guess it is a little bit more. At the same time, not completely.
I mean, the Raptors really
I don't
are
know. I
about.
mean, I haven't rode a Raptor, but it seems like there's at least some difference.
There's a little bit of difference, and I mean, I know you'd probably say Six Flags Fiesta Texas also had an RMC, but again, I think the difference is that it's a much larger park and they have much more room to in future projects they're gonna put different rides and attractions in, so they're gonna have they have more variety already. They have a B&M floorless coaster that's that kind of mild, smooth, fun attraction, not too intense. It's one of my favorite floorless coasters, but it's more of a mild ride, more of a GP kind of pleaser, in terms of it's comfortable, it's very smooth, it's very just kind of flows around. There's no like sudden inversions and airtime moments like with the Raptors and with the RMC Iron Rattler as well. So I just think that with Kentucky Kingdom, and they have, I think, 6 coasters now. If they get this Raptor, is that correct? 6? They'll have 6 coasters after this Raptor. I feel like it's going to be 3 of kind of very, very similar rides. There is some difference, no doubt, but they're very, very similar. And it's going to be, it's aggressive airtime moments,
I don't know.
aggressive
I mean,
inversions.
I think
I don't think they're different enough,
I
in
think
my
you can
opinion.
say the same about a lot of parks, though. I mean,
You can.
I think Orion and Diamondback are too similar.
Yeah, but they have
I
15
think.
coasters at that park. That's my point is that
Well, yeah,
they don't have a
but
lot of
I
coasters
mean,
at Kentucky
you
Kingdom.
also have I-232 and Fury.
They have 13 coasters at that park. I mean, I just feel like
Well, okay, but
you have more variety at those parks already, so they can afford to add similar rides in that aspect. I think at this park you need to add more of a variety of attractions, in my opinion, in order to complete the lineup in a perfect way. And I don't think, I mean, again, we just talked about how limited they are in space. I mean, I feel like this is using potentially other attractions could utilize the space that do differentiate themselves from the other coasters. There, RMC, Storm
what
Chaser,
else would you
and
put there? I mean, like, if you had a choice, what would you put? I mean, the space they're putting in it is really, really small, so
yeah, I mean,
that's a limiting factor. Like, like the number one thing that I'd say that goes in a space like that is a Hyper GTX, but they have one of those, so they're the only park that has one of those.
I mean,
I mean,
I haven't thought about it too much. What I would put there. I mean, and again, they don't have that much space, but I feel like, I mean, even being like talking about diversifying their lineup, you could put something like an SNS 40 free spin. I know that's awful. Oh my god, blah, blah, but that I think
I
diversifies
don't
their
care.
lineup
I'd
more.
rather take a duplicate. Like, I'd rather have the Raptor and go with
Yeah,
the duplicate
I
than
know you would, but I think in terms of I think from a standpoint of appeasing a variety of audiences, I think they should attempt to diversify the lineup. I think that's more important when you only have 6 roller coasters, when you only have that small amount of space. In my opinion, I think that
but
that is more important.
I don't think. See, this is the thing. I think the general public looks at this in a very different way. They don't look even remotely the same, and I think that's what connects to us.
But
We
I
get the similarity, but to the general public, that doesn't mean any. Like, they
they
won't
don't
look
look
at
the
those
same,
rides and go,
but
"Oh,
they'll ride the same. And I know for a fact that some of them are gonna get off and go, that just feels like Storm. That just feels like Storm Runner. Yeah, Storm Chaser. Excuse me. Wow, there's so many different Storm Runners and Lightning Twists and all that different. They all use similar names. Sorry, that just feels like Storm Chaser, and it's. I mean, I can just foresee that. I just know that that's gonna happen because I saw it at Fiesta Texas. People were like, I heard comments being made. Isn't this kind of like Iron Rattler? And in a way, it is. There's those sudden inversions. There's those very aggressive ejector moments of airtime. I mean, they're made by the same company. It makes sense why, and they do the same thing. Their marketing appeal is the same thing. Aggressive. Aggressive attractions with insane airtime and some really smooth, awesome inversions. That's really they look different. They're different in terms of capacity and how they have one seat and single rail, and they're different in terms of that kind of aspect. But in terms of what they do, they're pretty identical. I mean, but again, you stated
Yeah.
that parks add B&M Gigas and B&M Hypers, and I don't think that's normally a problem. But again, I think with those parks, they have, I mean, Carowinds can add, they have room to add way more coasters. So even if they do have those two similar coasters at the front gate, I mean, they have such a more diverse collection throughout the park that it doesn't really matter too much because if you don't want to ride, if you want to ride a Fury, you can ride Fury. If you want to ride Intimidator, you can ride Intimidator, and then you can go do something else. You don't need to have. It's not like those are the only two coasters in the park. Which with this would be kind of like there's three major. There'd be three major coasters in the park. Not a lot of people like Thunder Run. Not a lot of people like T3. Regardless of whether or not I know it gets some lines, but in terms of I know people getting off of it go, oh my god, that was rough. And then Kentucky Fly is a family coaster. So in terms of like the major attractions, it's gonna be Lightning Run, it's gonna be Storm Chaser, and it's gonna be this Raptor. And I just feel like your three major coasters should be somewhat different. And I don't think that they're different enough in this case. I think they're very, very, very similar.
I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this. I mean, not, I see that you. I mean, you definitely have valid points there. I just think I think the majority of the general public gets off riding and they go, "Wow, that was awesome," or they go, "Yeah, I'm not riding that again," and that's the extent of a lot of it. And yes, you may have heard some comments, but
I think we underestimate the thought process of the GP. I don't think they just blindly ride roller coasters and then just go, I liked it, I didn't
no,
like it.
I don't think. I'm not saying that. I'm not
Well, I
saying
know,
that
but
they do. And that's not meant to be a negative towards them at
no,
all.
I
Because
know, I know,
I
I know.
I try very hard. I just think that there's not like they don't really get into the specifics of like, oh well, it did this maneuver and this maneuver and this maneuver. But here's
And
the
that's
other
not
thing is one may look more intimidating to even let's say they have the identical ride experience. One may look more intimidating to somebody where somebody else might be opposite. So just in looking at it visually, somebody might decide, oh look, like the Raptor's this really small train.
well, you could say that about the hyper coasters and the giga
Right, like,
coasters too. I mean, I don't
well,
know.
yes, you could, and I think that's a valid point. I think Orion and Diamondback are a little bit too close together, but for I-232 and Fury, that's absolutely a valid point. That's a very valid point, and I think there's a lot of people that
I
ride I-232 and won't ride Fury
I don't
just
know.
because, well, Fury's got too big of a drop.
Yeah, but in this case, I don't think just having the single car makes it look less intimidating, or then saying Storm Chaser has two cars and it looks less intimidating, or more intimidating, vice versa, whatever. I don't think they are like even in looks. I mean, they're both about 100 feet tall. They both go about the same speed, about 50, 60 miles an hour. They both, the Raptor's shorter, but nobody really, again, I don't think the general public really looks at a ride and goes, oh, yeah, that's probably about this long and that's probably about this long. I don't think they look that into it. So, I mean, I just don't think that even at looking at them, they do very similar things. They do in the inversions and they do the airtime moments and they do them rather similar. So I think even in watching the rides, they might even see how they're very similar. But I think once they get off of them, if they've ridden both Storm Chaser, I mean, I know enthusiasts that'll ride like, I mean, not enthusiasts, I know like general public that'll ride, like B&M coach, like we talked about with, like they'll ride like a B&M invert and then like a B&M stand up or floorless or some other ride, and they can tell, oh, this is similar to what's it called, what's it called, yeah, Polisher, this is similar to that, it's similar to that B&M, because I'm like, oh yeah, because it's made by the same manufacturer, it's made by B&M, that's why you can tell they're similar
Yeah,
rides.
yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. I think visual is also a big aspect of the similarity of that as well. I think just having a different track type, people will associate it very differently. I don't know. I don't think this
This
is.
would be an interesting weekly poll, so maybe this will be to come. Maybe this will be a to come weekly poll, a future weekly poll that we bring up.
We could do that.
We could do that.
That sounds like an interesting idea.
We definitely could. All right, stop the recording. Do you think we should change the weekly poll? Or do you think
Why
we
don't we
should,
just do two?
or we could just move this to next week's show because this is next week's show, and this is like a general one that we could do whenever, it's not like relevant to this episode really.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, just remember that for next week's show. If we're freaking out about what a weekly poll should be next week, just remember that. All right.
Wait, leave it there then. Put it in the rundown. Or like, because you copy this, so like just put it below the like that conclusion social media, so it's there.
I'll just put it there. All right.
Sure.
What were we even arguing about again? Oh, if how would you phrase that? If the Raptors and if Kentucky Kingdom's lineup is going to be
Kentucky Kingdom adds a Raptor, is it redundant to the rest of their lineup? Why is my browser being a pain in the butt? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
we definitely could. All right, you ready?
1 second. So this one we are recording, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Do you want? Wait, never mind.
Do you want to start this off, or do you want me to?
You can. You're good at starting off usually, so I'd say go for it. All right, you ready? 3, 2.
Busch Gardens Tampa Bay is being sued. Let's restart that. I don't like that. You jinxed me, Bob. You said I'm good at starting off, and now I'm. All right, you ready?
Yeah. Do you want to start off, or would you rather me start?
Yeah, I think I'm
off?
gonna go like. If you guys have been following along with SeaWorld San Antonio and SeaWorld Orlando, they both have been sued for $3 million construction lien lawsuit. And then I'm gonna go.
Wait, hold up. So this is that article. Everything they're talking in that article is actually about all of SeaWorld.
I know.
Okay.
But what I wrote isn't about them though.
Okay. All right. You ready?
And you can maybe transition and go, yeah, and also out of this, once we talk about it somewhat, you can be like, also coming out of this lawsuit, we found out about SeaWorld, also coming out of another lawsuit against SeaWorld, we found out about this Mac Power Splash Ride and Swing Ride, which many people are speculating is a Scream and Swing.
Yeah, okay. Ready? 3, 2.
If you guys have been following along with SeaWorld San Antonio, damn, it's the wrong park.
You guys have been following around. If you guys have been following along with James, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
You guys can follow along with anything I'm saying right now. English language. You might be able to enjoy this podcast.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2.
If you guys have been following along with SeaWorld San Diego and SeaWorld Orlando, they both have been sued now for $3 million construction line lawsuit against them for not being able for their attractions Emperor and Icebreaker, and that's because their construction has not been able to be fully. They haven't been able to fully pay off the construction team that's been working on those two attractions. Similarly, now RMC has filed their own line lawsuit against Busch Gardens Tampa Bay, and this is in total for $3,536,854.39. Iron Gwazi is not going to be completed at least, or the sum of money for Iron Gwazi has not been completely paid at this moment in time. So RMC has filed a lien lawsuit against the park.
Yeah, this has been when this news reported, like the roller coaster community has exploded into this. Oh my God, it's the end. It's blah blah blah, and like the thing that cracks me up is everybody's like, oh wait, they put a lien against the roller coaster. Like that's such a horrible thing. There's a lien against and I guarantee you half the people saying this are driving a car with a lien against it because it's financed. And like this is the thing, people aren't getting the concept of what's going on here. A lien doesn't necessarily mean that the ride can't open or that the property can't be used. If you take out a mortgage, if you use a house as collateral, the bank files a lien against that house. All that is saying is that that company is placing an interest in that property, meaning they have specific rights. So RMC can easily say, here's like they filed a lien. Legally, it is documented that RMC has an interest in that property. But RMC can also say at the same time, you can go ahead and use the ride as, you know, but here's stipulations, or here's how we're going to handle this. It's not necessarily a no-go. And everybody seems to be jumping on this bandwagon that, oh, well, this is obviously why SeaWorld's not opening their attractions. But everybody's forgetting that a month or so ago, SeaWorld in their investor call specifically said they are highly considering not opening their 2020 attractions this year and saving them for 2021, which makes sense from a marketing perspective because, well, and two, from a capacity perspective as well. You don't want to actually draw in those crowds for a new ride this year. You'd rather save that for next year. It just makes more sense. So everybody seems to be linking two things that aren't related at all. And it's not saying, I mean, RMC could very easily say, hey, like, you're not allowed to operate that. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. In the Orlando Sentinel article, Premier Rides was actually even quoted as saying, look, we have to do this from a legal standpoint. This is kind of a requirement, but we're business people too. We understand what's going on. We understand these issues, and they're basically saying, like, well, look, we get what they're going through, and we look forward to working with them again in the future. Like, there's no bad blood. It's a complete understanding. And SeaWorld even said this when they first closed their parks, that they weren't going to be processing payments while the parks were closed. So this was kind of an upfront thing. And there was also even a business, I think it was a professor, I can't remember off the top of my head, but somebody was quoted in the article as saying, these liens are a normal part of business. Yes, the quantity is a little bit higher, and there's a little bit of abnormality to it. But in its base, this is just a part of business. This happens every year. It happens across the world, really. So people are like really, really misinterpreting this. Yes, there's the potential. There's some financial frustration ahead, issues ahead. We don't know. We can't make that judgment from this from what we know now.
Probably be very, very, very likely to see this come out with Pantheon and Icebreaker as well. Well, Icebreaker actually.
I actually think
Icebreaker was already in. Icebreaker was already. It already happened with Icebreaker actually, but with Pantheon.
Yeah, and I think there's something. I don't know that there's actually a lien against Pantheon, but I think there may have been a lawsuit filed with something to do with labor costs. I'm not completely sure. But again, even a lawsuit is oftentimes a technicality and not a sign of bad blood or somebody being upset. It's just a legal protection that just like says, look, we are documenting legally that you owe us this, like, so that there's no question,
Hmm.
so you can't back out. Like, it's just a legal proceeding. And sometimes, like, even insurance companies will require it. Like, look, they're not paying their bills. Like, you have to file a lawsuit. It
Hmm.
doesn't mean that, oh, we're upset with you and like we're suing you. It's like it's just a legal proceeding that has to happen in the course of business.
And thankfully, to these or because of these lawsuits filed against SeaWorld, we actually got some information, got some leaked information a bit, which
Yeah,
is awesome, which is great for especially for us coaster
because
boys.
they
We got some
filed
news.
liens against stuff that wasn't even thought to
Yeah.
be something.
So through these, it looks as though a Mac Power Splash ride could be coming to SeaWorld San Antonio. We don't know, and all of this could have been canceled. It could have been postponed. It could have been delayed. We don't know what's going on, but it looks as though was in the works a Power Splash ride, and also a swing ride, quote unquote. So that's what they've classified this as. Many speculating that that swing ride would be a SNS Scream and Swing, just because that's the trend that SeaWorld's been doing. They've been adding those to their
Yeah.
parks, so that would make sense that that would be that. And it was, I think it was classified as a thrill attraction, so people were speculating that that was the only type of thrill swing attraction they could think of. So this is exciting stuff. This is exciting stuff. SeaWorld San Antonio is a very, very a big park, but it has not a lot of attractions. Not a lot of attractions. And I think this is going to be, I mean, they've been adding coasters now. They have Texas Stingray this year. They got Wave Breaker a couple years ago. They had Steel Eel. They had Great White. But they need a little bit more. And I think this is going in the right direction. I think they definitely, I mean, they have a beautiful park there. They have that awesome, huge lake in the middle. They have some really awesome attractions. And I know that that lake can be utilized better, and I think that's where they're going to maybe even put the back power splash rides. Maybe not in the center. It wouldn't be like a centerpiece to the lake because I think that would look kind of bad. But having it on like one of the edges of the lake, it would look really awesome. And we've seen it been done. That's how they do these Mac Power Splash rides. They actually put them on a body of water, some sort of water, and then they have them. You know, it's a roller coaster that shuttles back and forth, and then at the very end of the ride, actually utilizing almost the water as like a brake system, and it splashes up that water, which is awesome. And then, of course, SNS Scream and Swings are typical rides that you see at a lot of parks. Kennywood has one. Busch Gardens Williamsburg now has one. Dorney Park had like one. I don't know why that came to my mind. Cedar Point has one. Yeah, a lot of parks have them, and
Hollywood has one, I believe.
Dollywood has one. Yes, that's correct. That's a good one. Barnstormer, I believe, is the name of that one. And yeah, they're very popular attractions. They're fantastic. And I also heard that there might be some interaction with the water. That's what people are speculating about, which would be incredible because I know from experience, the Screaming Swings are you get an added bonus when there is some sort of physical terrain utilized with them because we have not Battle for Ire, Finnegan's Flyer, excuse me, and that is our SNS Scream and Swing at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and that utilizes that cliff that kind of goes over this body of water, and it adds so much to the thrill. I mean, it's incredible, and even as like, and
I'll tell you, you know what would be awesome is if you do that, but not only just have it over water,
yeah,
but do something like the Crypt where you have water jets that shoot up and then disappear just as you fly through.
That would be cool. That would be really cool. And I think SeaWorld's the kind of park that could maintain that very well because
yes.
I mean, they do it with Manta at SeaWorld Orlando, so that would be freaking awesome. I would love that. That would probably top maybe Finnegan's Flyer for best Scream and Swing, which is pretty tough to do. I didn't think it would be done.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That would definitely be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with SeaWorld. I mean, they definitely, in this last year or so, they've been kind of, I don't know, behaving very oddly and not necessarily being responsible and kind of like from a company perspective, just being jerks. I mean, I think that's really the only way you could put it. But this, like, there's nothing right now, like this isn't anything I'm going to throw him under the bus. This is just life right now. We're in a pandemic. Things have changed and, companies are adjusting and I think they'll get through it. I don't see any reason why they won't. But, all we can really do is wait and see. And the same with the new rides. I mean, they may, I think there's a likelihood they're still going to progress, but they may be delayed. And, you know, we just have to see. I mean, time is the only thing that's going to answer these questions.
That's probably a good way to end that.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to go into Fantasy Island?
It'd be interesting to see Busch Gardens get a frisbee. I don't know if they'd really get one. I don't think they'd get a Huss. I don't think many people are going to get Husses. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Jack Inspires a Giga.
What's that?
Jack Inspires a Giga. Come on.
It's not a Giga.
Do you want to read that article about Fantasy Island, or did you read it already, or do you really? I mean, do you understand the premise?
I'll let you give the details, and I'll just kind of like.
I'll just go. Yeah.
Give some commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just go. Word.
Word to your mother. Just start rapping like. Yeah, you heard Fantasy Island is getting by this investment group. Next, we're gonna do something, and then poop. I don't even know what I'm doing. All
right. All right. 3. Oh wait, actually, let me save audio just in case something happens.
So both Apex parks are going to be kind of still alive, really. I mean, it's pretty great.
Yeah. All right. Did you save your audio too, just in case?
No.
You should, just in case.
Just in case the world ends.
Save project as.
I know what I can do, Bob. I've used Audacity before you did, so.
I bet not.
Yes. Yes.
No. Because I started using Audacity when you were like probably 6 years old.
I used Audacity when I was really little, actually. I did, but it's all right. I had it on my mom's computer. I shouldn't have done that. I had it on my mom's computer, and I used to play around with it. So, are you ready?
Yep. 3, 2.
So, in terms of parks that we did not expect to see reopening, I mean, we've been talking about parks reopening in terms of COVID cases and everything like that, reopening their parks because COVID's, slowly being stopped a little bit, or was there for a while. Fantasy Island in New York was actually permanently closed due to Apex Parks just closing them down and stuttering.
You could have. Oh.
And stuttering. That's that. And stuttering. Let's restart that. You ready?
Stand by. No, hold on. I gotta find where my audio stopped. Ah! Oh, that hurt my throat. Where's my audio? Urgh.
Almost ready?
All right. Okay. 3, 2.
In a way, I'm kind of contradicting myself from my earlier statement, how we talked about Hershey Park reopening and how other parks weren't reopening. But that was talking about COVID and how parks had been closed for this pandemic. We're talking about a park that was actually permanently closed by Apex Park Group, Fantasy Island. We talked about Indiana Beach. They got saved. Everything's great. They're reopening here soon. Fantasy Island, though, was thought to be dead, thought to be gone, no more, vamonos kind of thing. It was pretty much no more, and that does not seem to be the case anymore. An investment group called Empire Adventures Incorporated has said that they were looking into either buying the former Fantasy Island amusement park, the site outright, or leasing it if they can't swing a deal to buy the land. The plan is to try and open a brand new attraction on the site in time for 2021 season. Only some water slides and their former wooden coaster still remain on the site, so they would have to bring in traveling attractions most likely in order to get them all set up, get all these rides in for the 2021 season, most likely, or they would have to install quite a few, permanent attractions, which I don't know if they have the monetary capacity to do. So a lot of it would probably be like traveling attractions, but they still do have that. I don't know what their wooden coaster was called, but they do still have that. It was a major wooden coaster, I know, and then they have a good amount of the water slides from the water park still there. So this is some good news. I mean, we talked about Indiana Beach reopening and everything. We were excited about that. We really did not think we'd see Fantasy Island. We thought it was no more. We thought it was done. It was gone. And it's great to hear that now both parks, Indiana Beach and Fantasy Island, could be saved. Fantasy Island still, we don't know 100%. But it looks good. But Indiana Beach is 100% confirmed to be saved. They're reopening. And then Fantasy Island, 2021 could be reopened, which is awesome.
Yeah. Fantasy Island is the wooden coaster, and I actually was on that in the I think it was actually the year it opened, 19 or no, I think it was maybe 2000. It was either 99 or 2000, which is actually a great ride. This is really good news. Although, how much? Where a lot of the rides were sold. How much of the park is actually still intact? I mean, obviously the Silver Calm is still there, but I was understanding that a lot of the rides were sold. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that a lot of the rides were no longer there either, and that the only ones that remain are those water slides and the wooden roller coaster, actually.
So that's it.
I believe so.
None of the other.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I mean, it's good news to save the coaster. So, if you get that running again, if you get the park running again, but here's the thing that one of my biggest frustrations is there's some rides that only show up at carnivals and stuff that you don't really see at amusement parks. Like a Zipper and a Gravitron. If you could just put those there and then just pretend they're permanent, I would be ecstatic, because then there would be a place that I could always go to ride a Zipper.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would. I don't know. I would, Fantasy Island, always, even when I rode by it, always kind of looked like a carnival, kind of looked like a fair. So it would be fitting, kind of.
It was kind of in the in the grass and everything. You were kind of walking on beaded paths, but it was definitely a cool atmosphere. But I mean, that would be a cool thing, though. It's just to kind of have all those fair rides there.
Yeah, I mean, and again, when I rode by, every time I've ridden by, because I've gone by on the way to Niagara Falls, and man, it always looked like a fair. I was always like, is that a fair? Is that a carnival? What's going on over there? And I never really truly realized that it was an actual permanent amusement park until I became an enthusiast and became a hobby of mine, and I realized and looked it up and saw. But it definitely resembles that of a carnival, or it did. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too strange to see those type of rides show up at that park.
Yeah. So speaking of seeing things, I had heard that we might actually get to see an Orion POV.
Yeah. And then they pulled a Kentucky Kingdom on us. A little. They did. They pulled. Chad Showwater is the communications director of Kings Island. He posted a Twitter comment, and he said, or Twitter thread, and it was an image of the Eiffel Tower. But he said, "Hey guys, I'm announcing that we're going to be releasing a POV very soon. of a new attraction that you guys are going to be very excited to see. Never before seen was the exact wording that he used. Never before seen. So people are like, this has to be Orion. There's nothing else it can be. We've seen everything else, you know. But they
I
proved
don't
us
know.
wrong.
Coaster 101 actually posted
Yeah.
a response to that I loved. They
Yeah,
said,
the Eiffel Tower.
I can't wait for the first ever Eiffel Tower POV.
Eiffel Tower elevator. The elevator. Yeah.
Elevator.
I love that too. I love that too. So then we got the actual post, and it was as promised. Here's a video of the very first antique car auto to be unloaded at Kings Island when the ride returned to Coney Mall in 2019. Now that's a pretty old vehicle, and that's what POV stood for in his opinion. It was not point of view. It was definitely a pretty old vehicle. And I think someone replied and said, "Come on, we've seen these now. We've seen these cars." And he goes, "No, but you've never seen the video." So he clarified that you'd seen the cars, but you hadn't seen.
It was the first ever seen video.
It was the first ever seen video of the car being unloaded. So, but that just leads to more confirmation that we are going to see Orion POV because they're starting to talk about it. So sooner rather than later, we will be seeing an Orion POV. I would assume right before the park opens, maybe a couple weeks, which that is in the next couple weeks. So, next couple weeks, I would assume we would see a POV for this attraction. So that's why we kind of added that in this kind of news thread here, because it is somewhat of a news story, and it's a fun way to end off this. When we get back, we're going to be talking about quite a few stories, but among the most important, we're talking about how this pandemic has affected theme parks and what the future of theme parks look like. And actually, we're going to talk about a park that never shut down during the pandemic. We're going to talk about that all when we get back from this break. It's pretty cool, right?
I'm glad you handled that. You were breaking up really, really bad.
You're glad I did? Yeah, I was suck. I was like, all right, Bob, take it away.
Is that Discord doing that, or is that
what?
Is your audio okay?
My audio is a greta, a superb, a fantastico.
Oh, he said on the stream you were choppy too.
I can listen. It got recorded on the podcast. That's all that really matters. So, that's why we kind of added that in.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, I'm just making sure it was internet related and not your mic related.
It is somewhat of a news story. It's a fun. All right, Bob, take it away. I mean, it's not breaking up on my end. I'm listening to it on my phone. It sounds fine. The live stream.
I'm glad you handled that. You were breaking up. Okay. I'm more concerned about how Audacity recorded it.
Yeah, Audacity got it, so we're good. Way to end off this. When we get back, we're going to be talking about quite a few stories, but among the most important, we're talking about how this pandemic has affected theme parks and what the future of theme parks look like. And actually, we're going to talk about a park that never shut down during the pandemic. Yeah, it sounds fine. And then I think my video was choppy, but it wasn't my audio.
That may be. Your audio sounded like crap. I didn't even hear what you were saying, but that was probably Discord.
Yeah, you've been breaking up a couple times. It might be Discord.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked that South Korea never shut down. They never shut down this park. Because it's such a big park, really. I mean, are you ready? You ready, Bobby?
I don't think King's Dominion cares about Busch Gardens Williamsburg, to be honest. I think they're content with what they're doing. Yeah, I was hoping YouTube would settle down, but it doesn't seem to. So, but my computer seems to be responding okay.
Right.
So,
you ready?
Ready? 3, 2,
So what park never shut down? Was it in Africa? Was it in Australia? Was it in North America? No, it was in Asia. South. What?
I was, I was joking. I said Antarctica.
I didn't hear what you said. You broke up, so I was like, I.
Oh,
All right, you can do that again. That was funny. That was funny. Let's do that again. All right, are you ready?
hold on. Deleting audio.
That was a good. That was good, but I didn't hear what you said. It was like
All right, ready? 3, 2.
So what park never shut down? What continent was it on? Was it in Africa? Was it in Australia? Was it in North America?
It was in Antarctica.
Yeah, true. Antarctica never really shut down. Really, I mean, that's the only continent.
Where do you think we got like avalanche and flying turns and stuff? Like that's all totally bobsled ice related.
Yeah.
Like
They brave that stuff. They don't care. They don't care about no pandemic. They're gonna be out there in the snow.
not even the virus. The virus would be like, it's too cold here. I'm out.
Yeah, no, it was in South Korea. So Asia is where Park Everland, South Korea's Everland never down, which is amazing to me. It's amazing. So even during the peak of this virus in March, they said when over I think it was like 50,000, 60,000 people had been recorded as dead in the country. They stayed open. They didn't allow them to. They didn't allow themselves to close down. The government didn't force them to either. They didn't really change anything either. The closing time for the park only shifted from 10 p.m., which is their regular closing, to 9 p.m. So everything else was a normal activity. It was a normal theme park day, other than obviously you had to wear masks and things of that sort. So they did improve the rules. They said as they went out throughout the pandemic, but they never closed the park. And there's actually a lady that said that she remembers going and there were only 2 or 3 people in the entire park. She said it was very, very, very unusual and very strange to see. Which you think at that point it would almost be like financially irresponsible to keep the park open if there's only 3 people in your park. But I don't know.
Here's this whole thing. South Korea actually got the virus under control. They're like one of the few countries that actually like nailed the response. They did a really, really good job of it, and they handled things extremely well. And I think a big aspect of that is that their citizens are so in tune with what's going on. It's not like I think there's a lot more respect there that you don't have the stuff we're seeing here in the United States. But like I think an extension of that is that there's also you also kind of see this in Asian countries where there's like a very different attitude with business. Like business is a very I don't know the word I'm looking for, but
I get what you're
they're a
trying
little
to say.
more in tune with how things should operate, and
A little bit more
like, I think a big
responsible. You think
aspect
a little
of
bit
this
more
was,
responsible, kind of.
there's more
More maturity.
responsibility there, but yet it's also not like I don't know, like there's a lot of respect in both directions.
Maturity
I think I should
almost.
say.
It's almost like maturity. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a two-way street. It's not like oh, the employee has to respect the boss. It's both ways over there. And I think some of that might have come into this, like, we're not going to have the income, but we can keep running financially, so let's let our citizens that are working here keep their jobs and stay functioning. And even if it's not maybe the most economical thing to do, it's more of a moral thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is pure speculation. I may be completely off my rocker on this. So that's the disclaimer there. I don't know. I've never been to South Korea, but that's just kind of like of is
Yeah, and something that was also stated was during this pandemic that They actually were one of the first parks to utilize the spacing of rows for the coaster. So their famous T-Express roller coaster was spaced out a row from each other, while employees walked around disinfecting handlebars with an alcohol spray before and after each group. So they were one of the first parks to utilize this, even before Disney opened, and everybody was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Obviously, there's not a lot of media coverage for that because it never closed, so there wasn't like a big like, "Oh crap, this huge thing's opening." It was always open, so there wasn't the big media coverage for when Disney Shanghai was reopening. So when Disney Shanghai reopened, a lot of the things that were utilized at Everland were utilized there as well. Even with these extra procedures, lines were very short, they said, and people could immediately circle back on for a second ride. So there were no really lines during this pandemic. But they said, actually, in this article that it's starting to get pretty packed now, and that they are going to have to start maybe putting a capacity on a limit, because there was no need for capacity when there was only 12, 15 people showing up to the park.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And now it seems to be getting a lot more crowded, they stated.
Yeah. I really wish, James, I really, really wish that people in the United States would kind of take some hints. Because the outlook in the United States is starting to change. And I don't know how many people are paying attention to it, but it's kind of getting a little bit troublesome. And I mean, I know you've been watching videos and talking to people, and you've seen the photos and stuff that I have. And you and I both talked about this multiple times, before parks started opening, that one of the biggest things that was going to happen is parks were absolutely going to have to enforce the guidelines, because it's just going to be critical.
Mm-hmm.
And, for what we're hearing from most of the people that are going to parks is that just isn't happening. And at the same time, we also have statistics of many states. There's actually 23 states now that are seeing large spikes in the number of new daily reported cases. And now I will say this, I will give this asterisk. Yes, there is correlation between how many tests you're giving versus what that number is for cases. The concerning thing, though, even if you want to ignore all of that and just wipe it away, I think there's a lot to be said there. But even if you just do want to wipe that away and say, oh, that's just because we're doing more testing, the concerning thing is Arizona and Florida both have ICU capacities between 70 and 80% right now. That's what their utilization is at. And Florida now has some hospitals that are out of ICU beds. So we're definitely seeing something spike. And at the same time, I mean, I don't know. Like you said, you went out to a restaurant. I mean, obviously, while you're eating, you're not going to be wearing a mask, but I'm sure you've probably seen the same things I've seen. Is some people walking around without masks, just not really caring. The thing I love, and I see this a lot, and I can't. It's just like, I just want to punch people. They wear their mask, but then they have it pulled down around their neck. Like, what? Why bother? If it's not over your face, it's not doing anything.
My favorite image of this, and I'm not going to really say where I stand on the issue of all of this, but my favorite image of the mask policy is there's a picture, and it's like wearing a mask around your neck is like wearing your pants around your knees or wearing your underwear around your knees. Like, it's like you wear underwear and pants for protection for your junk, right? So if you pulled it all the way down to your knees, it wouldn't do anything. So that's the exact just because you have them there doesn't mean like just because I have my pants around my knees that I can just walk around with my wallows hanging out. That's not how it works. Just like you can't have your nose and your mouth hanging out. It's just that was a funny graphic I saw that really put it in perspective for me a lot more in a comical sense.
It's absolutely true too. I mean, seriously, why bother? If it's around your neck, why bother? It's not doing any good whatsoever. I mean, and like I know there's different views on this, and I mean everybody, that's fine. Like I don't want to. First of all, I think it's kind of stupid that this is even a political issue at all. But like I don't want to get into any of that stuff. the main things that I think are a huge concern are the hospitals, the hospitalizations. That is the thing that, there's not really an argument to be made there. Like that, you're either in the hospital for COVID or you're not. Like that's a hard number. There's, you can't, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing that concerns me is like you look at Florida and we have all these. I mean, you look at the attitude Busch Gardens had with selling a thrill seeking is essential. Like that's a bad look right now because Florida is just like, their daily new reports have just been spiking ridiculously, and now there's hospitals running out of beds. So it's something that like I think that we again we've mentioned this before too, but like I think that whatever your views are and however much it bugs you to go to a park wearing a mask, please follow the guidelines. Like this is, if you do not wear a mask, you absolutely may be screwing this up for everybody else, because I mean, at the rate Florida's going, there's a chance that we might start seeing another shutdown. And that's concerning because I don't want to go through that again. We just did that.
Yeah.
You're right. Exactly. So, you may feel like it's an inconvenience to wear your mask, but it's going to be a bigger inconvenience if we have to start shutting down.
But yeah, and a lot has come of this, and it makes sense why now we're seeing Six Flags actually remove their 2020 ride announcements and actually just saying that they're going to be advertised as new, which means that they'll probably be moving to 2021 and be marketing as new attractions for that season. So it looks like they're kind of in correlation with maybe what we're going to see from SeaWorld as well in that aspect. So like Jersey Devil, for instance, has been the actual new for 2020 has been removed from the site, and they're just being advertised as new, quote unquote. I have a feeling that means that they're probably going to push it back to 2021. That's just a gut instinct there, in my opinion. So it looks like because of possibly maybe a fear of a re-shutdown, or maybe because Great Adventure may not reopen at all this year. We don't know. Looks like they're planning on.
While there's the 23 states that are seeing the increase that I mentioned, there's actually there are 8 states that are remaining steady, which includes Indiana and Ohio. And the better news is there's 19 states that are actually seeing decreases, and Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, and New Jersey are actually included in that. So, I think it's kind of interesting that, that New Jersey we might actually see Great Adventure open, if things follow on this path.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the interesting thing about this. If you think about it, it's the places that were hit the hardest are now kind of like over the pandemic. So, just need to see. But I think I do agree with you. Like, I think that they're probably going to be pushing all the new rides to 2021. It just makes sense. Like I had mentioned earlier with SeaWorld. I mean, it just makes marketing sense. It makes business sense. This isn't the time that you want to be increasing your attendance, and you don't want to waste your marketing power on just a few months.
Mm-hmm.
You're so much better off pushing that to when you get a full year.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. So we were talking about the states that are declining in numbers, talking about states that are increasing numbers and are staying the same and all that. We're actually going to be traveling here, both of us, to different places, yeah. but we're traveling for our first theme park extravaganzas since COVID hit, since the COVID shutdown hit, and we're finally being able. So I will be going to Dollywood, and Bob will be going to Holiday World, which both are 2 of my favorite parks. So, I could either or would be great to go to, but Dollywood's a closer park for me. I'm not gonna be flying out to Holiday World or driving out there anytime. Most likely will be going to Hollywood Nights, but Bob, I'm really looking forward to hearing what you got to talk about Voyage, because Voyage got some new trains. I saw that.
I am so ecstatic. Like, okay, so this is kind of the interesting thing. Like, this was Holiday World. My family every year we go to the beach for a week, but we've started doing taking one bigger amusement park trip, where we go to a farther away amusement park, because my niece and nephew my sister loves amusement parks. My niece and nephew are really getting into coasters. So we've been trying to do that. And this year we decided that we were going to go to Lake Rudolph and hit Holiday World.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our plan. And obviously everything got screwed up. So we were thinking, well, we'll do it through July. We'll give it more of a time. And then all of a sudden my mom's work said, well, wait, nobody's taking vacation. So everybody has to take half their vacation by the end of June. So my mom scheduled her vacation for the last week of June, crossing her fingers, hoping that something would work out. And thankfully, Holiday World decided to open just in the nick of time to accommodate us. Yeah.
Like, oh crap! If we don't open here, then Bob's not gonna be able to come with his family.
Exactly.
No, man, we can't do that to him.
Yeah. So it's kind of the only somewhat frustrating thing is we are only going to do one day. We were planning on doing 2 days at the park. We're only going to do one day because the water park isn't going to be open yet. So we decided we're just going to do 1 day, but we're going to kind of just hang out at the cabin.
And you'll be back. You'll be back for Hollywood Nights. So
absolutely.
Don't have to worry too much. You'll get those, even if you don't get as many Voyage rides as you want. You'll get some more in here soon.
Yeah, but that's the thing that excites me. I've been so excited to take my niece on Voyage, and to find out that they got they're new trains, right? They weren't just refurbed. Were they actually new trains?
I believe they're brand new trains. Yes.
That's oh my god! And they've done all of the track. They've done some amazing track work from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, on the Spaghetti Bowl section of the ride. Yeah, they've done a good.
And I'm really crossing my fingers right now because my nephew might be at the 48-inch mark, and he might also get to ride Voyage. So
I'm going to give you some advice here, Bob. What I used to do, and actually one of my friends who's really short, wear these really thick heeled shoes that would actually and they would measure them, and they wouldn't even look at your shoes, so they don't look at your shoes. So you get measured, and they go, you're 48 inches, you're 48 inches.
James, I do not condone the stuff that I do. Believe me, my sister has been given instructions.
All right, good. I'm just telling you, because that'd be.
Since you bring it up, please let me give a disclaimer. Make myself feel better. There is a very big difference when you're dealing with a very, very minute amount and dealing with trying to get your child to grow 2 inches.
Yeah. I'm not saying that, because even then you have to wear some really that would be crazy thick. I think they might notice those shoes. You'd be walking around on stilts. Hey, can I ride this ride?
I just want to be perfectly clear in this, so as people don't say, "Well, Coaster Talk podcast said that it was absolutely fine for me to wear 2x4s in my shoes."
Got my kid. You got your kid strapped in some high heels, some 6-inch high heels. Right. Walking up to the ride, they're like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" Trying to keep their balance.
Yeah, this is more of that what we dealt with my niece at Cedar Point when she was just at that 48-inch line. It was she measured fine on one ride, and then the next ride she didn't. She was so close on that line that it was just those little things that you don't want that. Ensuring that you're over that's a little bit different than, trying to really boost. But
for sure.
And the more important thing is my nephew understands that if the ride operator says no, they say no. End of story. There's no arguing. That's the other thing. If they say your child is too short, your child is too short.
Yeah. And if you're really worried about it, go I know a lot of people go ride to ride and sometimes measure their kid from ride to ride, but if you're really worried about it, go to the front gate, get it done right at the first thing, just to make sure, so you're not disappointing yourself. Don't get them going, because I know a lot of kids I see, actually they'll their parent will take them from attraction to attraction to attraction, and they'll get measured at each attraction to see if they meet the required height. And it's just go to the front park, go to the very front of the park, get yourself measured, and then you can see the rides you're allowed to ride, you see the rides you're not allowed to ride, and then you just have that mindset already in place.
And there's also another good reason for that. And some people don't realize this, but as you walk around a park all day, you can actually shrink.
Yeah.
Very to actually put you back under that line. So, if you get that wristband, there's less. I mean, obviously they may still measure you, and if they do, they do. But you definitely have a better argument.
I wouldn't say normally. I would say normally they wouldn't do that, but they might just feel like they want to.
There's actually a Cedar Point even with the wristband, they always still measured.
That's never happened for me. And when I was a child, it never happened for me.
The interesting thing is, though, it's like even if they were like close, if they had the wristband, it was like they weren't gonna fret over. I think it's more of like, let's just make sure like somebody isn't like 4 inches too short and stole a wristband or something like that. It's more of just like keeping it from getting out of control.
Yeah, and a little bit off topic. We're talking about. I swear we talk about some weird stuff sometimes. Height requirements, kids areas. We get off on some tangents, and it's all theme park related, so it's fine. But let's get back into our plans. Let's talk about that. You're going to Holiday World. Awesome, excited.
Yep.
I'm going to Dollywood, which I am exceptionally thrilled about. I've not been since 2017. It's been a long time. I'm really looking forward to getting back on Lightning Rod. That's a really big hit for me. I'm going to get to go to Wildwood Grove, which is a brand new section of the park that opened last year, and I heard some very great things about, so I'm excited for that. And I'm really just excited to try each and every ride. I know you had told me to retry Wild Eagle because of the vest restraints. I did not enjoy them.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you think.
Yeah, I'm curious too. A lot has changed since then. I've gotten taller. I've gotten thinner. A lot of variables have shifted. So there could be quite a different ride experience for me. I know Timmy, again, bringing up Timmy, he had ridden it, and he said that regardless of whether or not when he rides, he still gets, he feels like that suffocation on his rib cage. And I'm like, I don't know. I think, I don't know. I've ridden all the other ones. I'm fine with all the other ones. I'm fine with the Banshees. I'm fine with Thunderbirds. I'm fine with Great Keepers. I feel like I might be fine with them now. I think I might, like we stated before on the show, maybe it's something that you kind of learn how to get used to. But I don't know. I'm gonna see. That's something I'm gonna test out. That'll be one of my first things I report back to on the show. We'll talk about that on that episode of the show when we return.
Maybe the problem is Timmy just doesn't learn.
Maybe Timmy just Timmy, if you're out there, man, just got roasted pretty hardly. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Dollywood. I know you're looking forward to Holiday World. Yes. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, and we're going to try to do it. We're going to try to do a show still from with Bob at Holiday World next Thursday. So we're going to try to record it then. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. We don't know what's exactly happening still.
Not completely sure yet. But.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure, but we're going to try to shoot for that. If something comes up, of course, you can check us out on social media, and we'll be posting updates on when we're going to record and things like that. But let's talk about the weekly poll of this week. So last week we talked about how a lot of parks are kind of levitating, SeaWorld in particular, but a lot of other parks are utilizing their mobile apps. Holiday World, I know for a fact, has their mobile app, and that's how you have to register to be in the queue. You have to use your app. I know Dollywood actually is not doing that. Dollywood's actually doing everything old-fashioned. You actually still wait in the lines. They're just socially distant queues and things like that. So I was surprised by that, because Dollywood normally seems like a park that would be more tech savvy and have updates and things. I thought they might, but actually is almost the opposite. The family owned park is utilizing a more advanced system of line waiting. You actually have a virtual queue at Holiday World, and Dollywood is not doing that. So when we were discussing that aspect of the parks with utilizing that mobile app, I kind of had the question of, what about paper maps? Where are those going? Because I know SeaWorld is not using them anymore. Busch Gardens Tampa is not using them anymore. SeaWorld San Antonio will not be using them anymore for the time being, as COVID-19 is still upon us. And so you're going to be utilizing your phone. You're going to be utilizing the app that they have in place. And I asked a simple question: is if we're going to start relying on the apps more, and are the maps going to kind of slowly get phased out of the parks? Will we ever see them return? Are they gone from the SeaWorld parks? Are they gone from other parks that have not utilized them? And we got an audience response, and it was pretty split down the middle. We had 29 people say no. So 29 people said no. That's about 60% of the vote. And then 40% of the vote, or 19 people, said yes. And so we actually got a couple of responses via our website. So again, if you want to answer the poll in more depth and actually answer with a response, please go to our website every time and go to coachtalkpodcast.com/weekly poll, because that is where we will have all of our information, including our poll. Because I know a lot of you like to answer it on the Instagram page, but Instagram does not really allow for a very vivid response at all. And that's coachtalkpodcast.com/poll. So we got a response. I'm going to read off actually quite a lengthy response here real quick from our friend Daniel, who said no, and just kind of hear out his thought process and his reasoning behind that. So he said, originally when thinking about this, I couldn't really say yes or no, but in the end I did come to a final conclusion. The whole map debate goes a lot deeper than some people think. The deeper question that needs to be answered is the park ready to go fully digital? Can the park in question fully rely on their guests to use their phone for everything? Parks have been pushing for app usage for years, but it has been a slow burn, changing very little in the apps, but overall a park could be experienced without a phone. Though the slow burn has been just increased substantially with the push to add mobile ordering and virtual queue features, along with the push to encourage using payment options with their phone rather than a physical card or cash. To that I ask, will the park have charging stations at restaurants, benches, and in queues? A voice over the counter, plastic card, and paper map don't need a power source. And that leads to the question, if I have to use my phone for queuing, ordering, and mapping, can I take my phone in line? Look at Universal and Six Flags Great Adventure for a specific question. If I can't take my phone in line, what is the point of the park's app if I can't use it? Finally, who is going to the park? While Disney and Universal's majority are usually family groups who stick together, regional parks are much more split. There are families, but there are also bands, school trips, summer camps. Those groups of kids don't have phone access. Those groups need maps. Those groups can't mobile queue. So overall, I guess I have to say no, paper maps aren't going anywhere. And I think it's a valid response. I think that was a very well thought out, very well put together.
I think he nailed it.
Yeah.
I think he absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. See, my only issue is I think that talking about summer camps and groups, kids, blah, 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 a lot of kids do have phones.
Yeah.
A lot of kids do.
Yeah, it depends on the age group to an extent.
I would say even 7,
and what
6-year-olds
they're actually there for. But
and even if they don't, I think a lot of times what happens with those groups is that you have a chaperone that would be able to access a phone, and that might be a requirement. Like, hey, when you're going on this field trip from now on, you have to have a phone as the chaperone so you can look at the map.
But you're talking about very large groups. I mean, you look at most of like the in-queue systems right now, they're like the grouping is like a max of 6. So, it could get interesting. And there's going to be those technical hurdles. And there's going to be people that don't have a smartphone or don't have a compatible smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're likely always going to have that in some capacity. Of course, that number's going to get lower and lower, but
I know with like Dollywood, for example, you don't necessarily have to have the app to access that. You can actually go to their website and do, you can do the reservations. You can look at their map on there. So if you're not compatible in downloading the app, you could still access it via the website. I just feel like in this type of world, I feel like
you also have to understand how many people may actually be on limited data plans. I mean, it's true, but I have unlimited data, but
parks provide park-wide Wi-Fi. Most parks now do prevent. And I know some people are like, well, they're kind of spotty. And I know that is true, but I know a lot of parks have worked to improve that. I know Busch Gardens Williamsburg was working to improve that. They said that they realized that their Wi-Fi was very spotty in their park. Kings Dominion has some actually great Wi-Fi. Again, I have unlimited data as well, so I don't normally utilize that, but that is something that a lot of parks have done now, and a lot of parks have improved upon or are going to improve upon. And I just feel like it's probably cheaper to just have the app up and then not have like millions of maps around the park, and then every day having to replenish them. And I feel like if you're coming from like a SeaWorld aspect, because that's who I'm really thinking about here, because they're the ones that are actually doing this right now, and that I think might actually cancel it out altogether. That's who I'm thinking might be the first park chain to do it. It's environmentally friendly. And I think that might be something that they kind of claim as why they're doing this. We're not utilizing paper. We're not utilizing, the plastic. We're going to save the trees. We're going to, whatever. We're not harming the environment anymore. I think that might be kind of
my theory is that is exactly what they would say. But the real reason would be that would be worth about $1 million worth of stock options for the executives.
Yeah.
I mean, if you save that much money on paper,
hmm
why not give it to the executives?
yeah,
That's what.
yeah, and I don't, yeah, obviously companies always utilize the environmentally friendly, or we're supporting this charity or whatever, just kind of normally as kind of a um, money kind of thing, or
Yeah.
reputation or anything like that. Normally, not really out of the goodness of their hearts. I mean, maybe there's definitely some examples of that, but I think normally when they do things like
Well,
we're doing
I
environmentally
do.
friendly and we're doing blah blah blah, I think they care definitely, but I don't think it's like there's definitely always like a little bit of like, ooh, we get this incentive if we do this, or anything like that. So
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say, like, SeaWorld does do a lot of like environmental impact
yeah, and I
stuff,
don't
and
think
they
they're like
do like
heartless.
the
They're not like a
rescue
heartless
stuff, and
corporation.
like,
I don't want to sound
yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, they definitely have that
I'm
aspect.
not bashing
Uh,
capitalism or anything like that. The heartless corporations
um,
don't care about the people.
you
No,
know,
I'm not.
it's just more of like what SeaWorld has been doing recently. It's like, that's the kind of thing I would see them doing. But see, that's the thing. That's the only reason why I could see them ever. Well, I mean, outside of the COVID, like there is a COVID-19 concern right now, and I get that. But outside of that, I think that's the only motivation. As a whole, I don't think we're going to see park maps go away. I don't think you can. Uh, it's just, first of all, I've tried it. I hate using a map on my phone. I hate it. Of a park like
I
that. Oh,
I
it's
don't love it
just
either.
so
And the
annoying.
thing is, I love
And
collecting paper maps, so this would be the most detrimental to me. I would be very upset about this. I would
but
be
think about
outraged.
this too. Like just having the screen on your phone while you're navigating, that consumes a lot of battery power. People
hmm
like Daniel said, like what are they going to do about the whole charging thing? Like that's going to be a big issue
Well, I
if
know,
like everything you do throughout the
but what we saw, I
day.
mean, even with Busch Gardens and SeaWorld parks, which is why I think this, a couple years back they added these charging stations, these charging banks. I know there's one by Griffin at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and you can actually just plug your phone in. You actually have like a little like a lock box that you can lock up your phone and just leave it there for a little while and then come back and get it. I don't know.
But what do you do when it's locked up? What do you do?
I think they're gonna still. I mean, I know Busch Gardens, for example, has a lot of like TVs and things around the park that actually show the map on the TV. So you can walk around the park and you have like different, and then they also have like the actual billboards with the map on it. So I don't know if maybe parks would do that. I don't know. I think it's going to be a SeaWorld thing in particular. I think other parks may follow way down the future, but
I mean,
I just think I just
SeaWorld doesn't even want to give you a plastic pass when you buy a $350 platinum pass. Like they give you this stupid paper thing that falls apart and you have to pay $7 to get the plastic one. So yes, yeah, yes, it's a SeaWorld thing. I could see that.
and that's who I was thinking more of in this aspect. But I think other parks might follow. But I don't know. We'll see. I just have a feeling that they might be something like of a normality that they get used to. Like, oh, we've been utilizing this map all of a sudden. Are we going to start buying maps again? No, let's just keep it on the mobile app.
I
Let's.
I really seriously think people will push back. And see, I think that's another thing is I think this year you're not going to have a lot of you definitely will have some, but I think the percentage of new visitors to the park is going to be a lot smaller. I don't think you're going to have a lot of people venturing out of what they already know. You'll have people going to the parks they're used to, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of people going to new parks this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another reason why they um, they might actually get away with this because of that aspect. But when you get to next year, when you're bringing all these new people in that are going to want to try Pantheon and stuff like that, they're like people. I don't think it'll go well. I really don't because one, there's a lot of people that right now there are still a lot of people that have dumb phones. Yes, that number is dropping, but there are people that do. So those people are going to want paper maps. Two, people don't like using their phones for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Three, it's not a seamless experience. Four, I could see the guests would constantly be bugging employees, and you need a lot more people there to answer questions of where to go. I just think it would be I think it would be a disaster to get rid of paper maps. Not for a long, long time because paper maps are just simple and they're bigger. That's the big thing. Like you go from a little 7-inch screen to a 2-foot wide map. Like it's a lot easier to see and a lot easier to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, a valid point, and I think this is going to be more of a time can tell kind of thing than an actual like debate kind of like we're going to solve the answer tonight on the show kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think SeaWorld may try to phase out the maps. I don't know. We'll see though. That's gonna come. I think next year, especially. It depends on how long COVID goes on. I mean, COVID could very well. I mean, what happens if we don't get a vaccine? What happens if fill in the blank? Maybe there's another resurfacing of the virus, and then they still have to continue with the no maps because. And then what if it just continues and continues and it becomes a trend? And then at that point, they're just like, you're using your phone kind of thing. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of foreseeing. Something like that kind of playing out. But it could be the opposite. It could be we get a vaccine, everything goes back to normal, we get paper maps, and everything's fine. And I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing. I definitely will bring this up in a year, and hopefully we'll have figured out what's going on with those. Maybe hopefully past James or past Bob is listening to this right now, and we're like, oh crap, yeah, we should probably bring that back up when the in the show. So yes, that was our last week's weekly poll. Again, we got quite a few responses there. A majority, 60%, said no to the paper maps being completely phased out, and then 19% or 40% said yes. So pretty close in terms of results. It wasn't like a hugely specific audience group. It wasn't a majority by any means. What am I talking about? All right, can we stop that? I always like say random words and then I'm mad at myself. I said a generally specific group of people. What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't know where to stop.
Pretty close in terms of results. It wasn't like a. Here, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna kind of close the show up now, so you don't really need to say anything really. Anyway, right? Like I'm just gonna say next week's weekly poll, and then I'm gonna talk about the photo contest. Unless you want to talk, I guess you could talk about the photo contest or whatever.
Oh, it's up to you. I'm fine with letting you finish it out.
Yeah, but it might be like 5 more minutes. So if you don't want to talk for like 5 more minutes,
it's totally up to you.
Maybe you should try because you might want to like throw in a joke or throw in a something, just so you have that option to do.
Pam said BGW doesn't provide Wi-Fi in the park.
They do. I'm 100% confident. I'm very 100%.
The question is, does Pam know how to use the Wi-Fi in the?
That is the true question. That is the true question. That is the true question. We're gonna get another FU, Bob. Get ready to block it.
All right. Where I don't remember what I was saying.
I was talking, so you can just go back like 10 seconds and then like delete that amount, and then that'll be about where it was, and I'll line it up later.
Let me see. All right. Oh, whoa! Look. What'd I do? Ugh.
You deleted the entire episode.
No. Wait, why? 117. Oh, I don't think. It wasn't even 10 seconds. I'm just gonna pick up where I was.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
What?
Oh my gosh!
What?
Someone just
What?
Someone just posted about Twisted Cyclone, and they said it's better than Lightning Rod. That is just that's kind of disgusting to me. That's just disgusting to me. Oh, I respect people's opinions. I respect that, but
all right, I'm just gonna pick up where I was because it really wasn't that long. All right.
okay.
You okay with that?
That's fine.
All right. I'm ready whenever you are.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Wait.
3.
What were we talking about again? Oh, next week's weekly poll. Well, no, I need to figure out what I was saying. Sorry. Results. It wasn't like a. Oh, yeah, it wasn't. All right, you ready?
Yep. 3, 2.
It wasn't like a poll that was completely one-sided here by any means. There were definitely some. It was very close in terms of results. 60-40, 29 people, 19 people again. So we're going to talk about next week's poll now. Next week's weekly poll will be surrounding what we talked about earlier. We decided to kind of make that the weekly poll because we thought, as we were debating it, we thought, hey, this is actually a pretty good weekly poll. We had another one in place, but we're going to actually utilize that in a later episode of the show. So this week's weekly poll is... This one's much better, yeah. It's much better for this episode, definitely. If Kentucky Kingdom adds a Raptor, does it really add anything different to their lineup? Does it really provide a new experience, something that's different enough, from their other attractions at the park? And that's going to be an interesting poll. We're going to see, again, you heard where me and Bob both stand at this earlier in the episode, so no need to really talk. We're going to talk about it again next week when we get the results. And if it's one-sided in either or direction, we'll discuss that all on next week's show. But a lot of you guys haven't done this, but something you guys should check out is doing our photo contest. We have a photo contest going on the Coaster Talk Podcast photo contest, coastertalkpodcast.com/photo contest, where you can actually submit up to 20 photos of roller coasters, of theme parks, and we're going to decide the best photos that you submit. So we're gonna narrow it down to possibly around 10 photos, we're thinking, right now, and then we'll see how many responses we get. We realized that we've gotten about, I think, 20-ish responses at the moment, and that's good, but I think more people are going to start submitting once they go to the parks more, and once they go get some more photos. So we're hoping that we get some more people interacting with that once they get out to the parks more and get some better photos. But again, you can submit up to 20. So even if you want to submit like 5 now, or however many you want to submit right now, you can still have room for 15 later that you take at the parks at a future time. So definitely consider submitting your favorites of your own. Submit a bunch, submit some good ones, and we will narrow it down here. Actually coming up next month. It's going to be June 14th. So we started June 14th last week, June 14th, and it's going to be ending July 16th. So when you submit your photo, you include the following information. You include your name, your age, your email, your photo title, the park where the photo was taken at, the caption that describes the photo, and then the rules are there's no watermarks, or if there are any, please make them minimal. Must be theme park related, so no really water park photos. Must be your own content, so don't submit us somebody else's photo. Obviously, hopefully that would be clear, but we always have to specify.
Yeah.
Must not be taken while on a ride or in a restricted area. We kind of took it back. We got someone asking us if it was on a tour, would it be accepted, like a tour that was granted to you by the park? And I said, if you provide the event name that you were there for, and we can actually clarify that was an actual event that you were there for, the actual tour, that we could establish some credibility there, I would accept it. So that's something that you can do if you're thinking about submitting it in a restricted area that you were on a tour with. We accept a TIF file, a JPG file, a PNG file, and the minimum resolution is 2048 by 2048, and maximum of 15 megabytes. So the schedule is the Bob and me are gonna basically weed out the ones that aren't good, aren't high quality.
First step. All the pictures of Still Vengeance sign with the drop in the back, gone.
That's upon Bob's request.
Yes. I'm telling you right now, if it's that picture, it's gone. I've seen way too many of those.
We already got a Steel Vengeance picture, but it actually it was really good. So it was not what you thought it would be. It's nothing.
Oh yeah, I'm not against Steel Vengeance pictures. You give me a good, it's just that, I've seen so many pictures of that sign.
Yeah, definitely. And then after that, we're going to have the audience narrow it down to 10 photos. And then we're going to have judges who are going to be other coaster photographers. We'll announce those at a later date, and they'll vote on the best ones. And then the top 3 will receive a prize, which we're still discussing. But and I would assume probably in the next episode or two we will announce the prize so that you guys can get a little bit more excited and maybe get some more motivation at submitting the best possible photos, because they're going to be some good prizes. I assure you that. Follow us on our social media pages to keep with updates on our photo contest, to keep with updates in the industry and what we're talking about, on our trips that we're going to be going on here soon. And that's all going to be on our Twitter account at @KosherTalk_pod, and then Bob's account at KosherTalkBob. I'm sure he'll be posting from Holiday World. Facebook at Kosher Talk Pod. Facebook, that is our account for that. Instagram at Kosher Talk Pod. If you want to contact the show with any comments, questions, or concerns, or if you want to submit an audio file of the show, you can do so by going to koshertalkpodcast.com/contact. You can email either me or James or Bob at james@koshertalkpodcast.com or bob at koshertalkpodcast.com. Thank you guys all so much for listening to this episode of Kosher Talk Podcast. We'll see you guys all next week.
Yay!
Da-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na.
I just now got the Pam. Is Pam? Pam must be lagged.
You got the "I love you too" message or what?
No, she just said "F you."
No. Maybe she just out of nowhere was just like, you know what? F Bob. F that guy. You never know. Thank you guys all so much for watching this episode of Kosher Talk Podcast, or this live stream of Kosher Talk Podcast, episode number 78. It was a lot of fun to talk with you guys and have discussion, and we'll be back next week.
Yep. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Good night.
What?
Good night.
Good night. Good night. We should play the Kennywood
okay.
song to close off the live stream. Are you looking for it?
Yeah.
I could sing it. Nighty night. There it is.
All right, guys. Bye.
All right.
We're fading to
See you
black.
guys next week. Well, hopefully I'll see you next week.